This time I'm going to go with a Nimzo-Larsen. As my opponent does the copycat thing. Alright, I'm going to make a move and see if he continues to copy. Since he does, we're going to go into a Queen's Gambit. Rule of 4. When you see the 4 pawns, you want to be the one to take. So it's interesting though because I can break symmetry. And that gives me with more options than it gives you. And I should be a bit better now. Let's just clip everything because this looks pretty good. Uh-huh. Not compromise the structure any. It's an endgame. My king's happy there. Love to do knight c6. We'll probably go rook c8. I go rook c1. Renew the threat. Rook a c1 because the other rook probably wants to go to d1. Now rook d8 is actually a decent move because if I play knight c6, rook takes, rook d2 check, king f3, rook takes b2, and you get 2 pieces for the rook and activity. So good one. And I'm just going to take the slightly better ending. The extra pawn is going to help a lot. Not much work to be done here after that move. So I can start forcing some trades. Knight takes, king takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, a3. And I'm up a pawn and a king and pawn in game. That should be good enough. If he pushes there, I take, go king d3. If he pushes there, I close. Entry points are covered. And we slowly improve. And I have more pawn movements than you have. So, okay. Now, if I want to go for this one, I don't want to let him in. So I'm just going to go 1 to start with. And then let him make decisions here. Should be a relatively straightforward king and pawn endgame win. Now, I want him to make decisions. Like once this pawn moves, we'll freeze it. If it goes 1, I go 1. If it goes 2, I go 2. And if I try to create a passer, we have the square of the pawn here. So I was wondering if he'd go for something like that, but that creates a problem for him because my king is boxing him out with a pawn. And I've got the outside passer. His king is very, very far away. So, yeah. Understandably resigns. Okay, so we have a copycat, Nimzo-Larsen, or an Owen's defense. And when I see this, I typically am like, okay, I'll just go c4 and d4 and go into a Queen's Gambit type position. And you have one of the key problems with somebody doing the copycat thing, and he copies me all the way to here, and then as we see, I already have the extra idea here, and the engine of eval jumps up. And this is why you can't just copy somebody move after move, because it's going to end up getting rough for you quickly. Bishop b5 check. Found the correct move here. And knight takes d4. Okay, I was worried about that, but I guess just simply after rook g1, every white piece is coming alive, and it's worth sacking the pawn for, because all 4 of white's minors are in the game. We got a rook on the open file, and black just seems awkward and can't get out of this. So, understandable. I went queen takes d4, and that dissipated a good amount of my advantage. And then I see a way to force to go into an ending, so I opt for it. My opponent trades off his bishop pair, which I really didn't like, and I didn't want to take with a b-pawn to compromise the structure. And then here helps me with my development with the king. Now I'm threatening knight c6, so he stops it. Okay, so I must have miscalculated here, because I was thinking takes. I missed the Zwischenzug. See, I was only thinking this, in which case I evaluated it properly. But in my calculations, when I thought about knight c6, I missed after takes, bishop takes, and this is simply an easy win. You have more than enough ways to collect, and then the outside passer will win pretty easy. But yeah, little things in calculation. But I evaluated this properly, that this is going to be a win, and then here, king d3, it liked more. But maybe it's a horizon effect thing. But it should be saying winning here, which it does. I didn't lose any of my advantage. a3 is good, keeps the king out, takes. f3's waiting to see what he's going to do. Say, for instance, if king d5, it's continuing the waiting game, because I'm waiting for this pawn to move, and then I'm going to freeze it. King e5. Yeah, it seems like I can just go if I can do that. Yeah, and the engine's starting to really get into the position now. As the depth gets deeper, it sees how lost black is. And it liked the g4 idea, but I saw no reason not to try to clamp. Because it's like the idea is I have opposition. So if he goes h5 to stop, I can just go g3. And, I mean, we're running out of moves here. King d5, king d3. You're going to have to do something. Because if you let me get an e4 now, it's outside passer again. And it's all about just creating a passer with your extra pawn here. There's multiple ways to do it. So I liked how it turned out with g4. And all it's going to take is, oh, mate in 10. Let's see it. Or not. The eval's it's not moving for me. All right, well, it's pretty clear that's going to become a queen, and he's going to get checkmated. So we'll end the story there with that one.